Hello, today I'll be talking to you about my whatabook assignment. So I thought it would be easier to make it in video format, just going through all the options so it clears some stuff up. So basically, we have the whatabook init.sql script here, and it is generally the same as it was, except for I have a new table here, administrator, and I'll get to that later, but I added that table and I also added on to the store table some store hours, and we'll see that as well. And since adding those, I've had to add the drop table administrator when I'm initializing the database. And if we scroll down, uh, as you can see, I'm inserting a new value into those store hours, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, as well as um, adding in an administrator column here for Kevin Mitnick, and this is his password. So we'll get to the whatabook.py script here, and the configs all the same for the whatabook init, except for I've been having this issue to where my password has to be this password without an exclamation point, even though this is created with an exclamation point. So if there's any explanation for that, please let me know. But in any case, I'll just quickly go through it here. Obviously, this is the display menu function, and it looks normal, except you'll see here that there is an admin panel that I added. So along with that becomes validating the admin, and as well as a new choice, if I can find it here, which is adding a new book to the database. So apart from that, everything else is kind of the normal requirements for this program. I'm just going to quickly scroll through it here, and then we'll run it, and I'll go through step by step what's happening. So we're just going to quickly init the database here. I've already created a database called whatabook, and then obviously we're going to use the source of the whatabook init.sql script that I just showed you. And when we do that, everything should go fine. If we look at it now in the database over here, do a refresh, we can see the administrator table with Kevin Mitnick and his password, the books that I added in, the store with the hours, 3 users, and their default wish list items. So from here, what we can actually do is just run the py script for the actual program, and we're presented with the main menu. So for functionality purposes, I'm going to show all the books, and you can see them there. View locations, and you can see that the hours also display. I can view my account. Let's just say account number 2. View my default wish list items, and you can see it's on there. I can add books. Say I wanted to add 7, The Great Gatsby. It was added, and then I can look at it again, and there it is. And then we go back to the main menu, and instead of exiting, I will show you this admin panel right here. If we go into the admin panel, we have to enter an admin ID number, and the only admin ID number is 1. If you enter anything else, it'll exit the program, and then we're prompted with entering a password. So the default password that I put is SQL rocks ! And boom, it lets us in. From here, we only have one option, and that is add a new book. So we can add a book title. Let's just say baseball for dummies. Let's just say his name's John Patrick. I don't know. And it's optional to add a description, but we will put baseball for dummies. And boom, there we go. You can see that it added a new book, Baseball for Dummies, John Patrick. And the really cool part about this now is we can go back, we can view my account again, go back to number 2. As you can see, we had these as wish list items now, but now we can actually add that book that we just added. So book ID 10, boom, and it was added to our wish list. Now we look at it, and there it is on our wish list, Baseball for Dummies. So I believe that covers all of the general functionality of the program, but something I wanted to show was how I did the password for the administrator, because obviously it's not a plain text password. You never want plain text passwords inside your database. So I started with this test.py script here, and I imported hashlib, which is basically a library that can hash strings in Python. So I use this, and what I did was, if we run this real quick, it'll ask for your admin password. It'll take that and it will hash it to an MD5 hash using the encode, and then it will then translate that back to a string that is readable and print it here. So as you can see, for that password that I set, SQL rocks ! It'll print back out exactly this hash, which, if you'll notice, is the same hash that is, if I can find it here, is the same hash for Kevin Mitnick here, the administrator. Obviously, if I did something like test, then that would be a completely different hash, as you can see. And how the program goes about checking that is, if we scroll all the way down here, and we get to the option 5, the admin panel, we go to the validate admin function first before we show the admin options. And so if we go all the way back up to the validate admin right here, it will say enter an admin ID number. It has to be 1. If it's anything else, exit. And then it'll ask for the password. It'll take that password that you entered, it'll hash it into an MD5 hash, and then it will take that and it will hex digest it into something that is actually readable. Then it will set the admin login to the digest of that password you entered, and then it will go and select the password from administrator where admin ID equals 1 in the database. As we know, that's our admin account. And then it will set this validate variable to whatever it receives from that administrator password. Then what it does is it simply compares it. So if the admin login does not equal the validate variable, then it will just throw you out of the program because it's wrong. But if the credentials are correct, then it will let you in, and it will let you into that admin panel. So real quickly, I'll just demonstrate that. Let's just say I enter a password of test123. It will output, for my testing purposes, what the hash I was supposed to have versus the the hash I did enter, and it will basically kick me out of the program. So that was one little quality of life feature for the admin login there, and that's something that obviously not displaying the hash after you get it wrong, but hash values are something that is used a lot when storing passwords in databases used in the real world on actual internet-facing databases. So, yep. So this is the last thing I wanted to show, and it's something of a personal project that I did. Instead of MySQL, I used SQLite in this. A lot of this will be minutia, and it's going to be a little finicky to get it started, but I thought I'd show it anyways. But basically, this is a project that I've been modifying and working on based on the Flask API and the Flask framework for the web, and it's basically just an application that allows you to create accounts, log in, and make posts on a website, but it uses an SQLite database. So if we get that started real quick, the first thing I'll have to do out of my many commands here, first you need to activate the virtual environment in this folder. I've already done that. So all I should need to do is paste that in here, and as you can see, we have the virtual environment activated, and all this has is the pip3 install of Flask on it, and that just keeps everything neat and tidy. So from here, what I can do is init the DB, and the DB is initted, and it's this database here, and it creates an SQLite database initialization in the virtual environment. Obviously, we can open it, but it's in SQLite format, so not really readable, but this is what it looks like. It has users, posts, and likes. The likes I haven't quite got down yet, but I'll show you where I'm at with that process. But I use SQLite browser to actually view the database here. If I can find it, there it is. And you can see that that these database tables have been initialized now. From here, all I need to do is run the app. And essentially what this is it is HTML and CSS running on the backbone of Python. So I'm not going to get too into it, but essentially what Python is doing here is it's rendering these HTML templates as they're requested, and the HTML templates reside in these folders, and Python's really doing a lot of the back-end work for this application. So if I go to the link, you'll see here, it's just an application called Flasker. You can register. Let's just say I can put my password as Sam and Sam, username Sam, password Sam. I register, and then from there I can log in. Obviously, if I get a wrong login, it won't let me in. And then I can make a new post from here, and I can say, hello everyone, and then I can save it. Sorry about that. There was something in my code that I had to go back and revert. But anyways, we can log in with or register with my username and password again as Sam and Sam, and obviously log in from here. And then we can make a new post and title it again, hello, and then hello everyone. And then we can save it. And as you can see, there's this new post here. We can make another one, hello to, hello everyone else. And boom. And then if we go into our one second here. If we go into our database here, we can see that these database tables are now filled in under the post for the timestamps, the titles, and what they have in them, along with sequential numbers. And you'll also see too that the user is now in here with a SHA-256 hash as their password. So in my project, I just use an MD5 hash, but this is an actual legit SHA-256, probably salted, I think, too, hash that gets compared to when you log in. So that's just another way that I've been using databases in my own personal projects to be able to develop some web applications. I know that's a little more out of the scope of this class, but nonetheless, that is one of its main functions as a database, is to assist in storing data for web applications, even this small one here, which is adapted from the actual Flask tutorial, but as I've said, I've been adding features to it and kind of making it my own. And I thought that was kind of cool that I was able to use this to kind of increase my knowledge on databases. So if there's any questions and comments, please let me know. Other than that, see you later.